You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's American Horror Story After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's American Horror Story After Show.
I was waiting for music.
I was waiting for music too. All right, well.
That's okay. There it is. It froze, sorry. Good evening, AfterBuzzers.
I want to be like this.
Banging your head? Please do. Please do. I would love nothing more than that. Good evening, AfterBuzzers. We are here at the AfterBuzz TV studios doing things the way things always should be done with Bing. I am your host for the evening, David Schifilliti. I am back. I love you. I've missed you. And just be happy I'm back. And joining me tonight is Stephen Lemieux.
I am Stephen Lemieux, and David is back.
And I'm back.
He is back.
I promised I'd come back. I know that I was gone for 2 weeks due to scheduling conflicts.
And now our amazing hosts, JC and Jackie, will not be joining us this evening. JC should be back next week, though.
Let's keep our fingers crossed.
AfterBuzz TV show podcast. All right.
All right. Let's jump in. We're doing American Horror Story Season 2, Episode 4. I am Anne Frank.
You are?
Uh-huh. You didn't know that?
No, I totally thought your name.
That's why I always wear long sleeves. I cover my my Holocaust tattoos.
Oh, man, you got some ink on you.
Yeah.
But no, what did you think of this episode, like, right off the bat? What did you think of, like, the whole...
For me, it was... I love that he took a reference from real life and put it into his world. Mm-hmm. And I always enjoy that, to try and to see a different side of a story that might not have been told, something that people may not have ever thought of. Because Anne Frank, as a person, as we all know her story, died in the Holocaust when she was 15 years old. And had she survived when this story takes place, she would be 34, which is mind-boggling to me. And it just, I loved it. I loved it. I really enjoyed it.
So the nice twist, like kind of an M. Night Shyamalan era twist.
Yeah.
Of, hey, she's still alive. Oh, wait a second, what? But everyone, of course, would think she's crazy because
everyone knows that Anne Frank is dead.
Yeah. So yeah, it was kind of an interesting twist because at the first you don't know if she's crazy or if she really is like telling the truth, and you still don't. Honestly, you still don't, because there's some points where she could have been another. She might not be Anne Frank. She might be another Holocaust survivor from the same time who recognizes Arden. And that's the kind of thing where I'm seeing if they're actually going to go with that, because I don't see...
Well, this is a two-parter.
Yeah, it is.
This story. And we'll get the end of it next week with the new episode, But
comparatively to last week, what did you think of this episode?
As a whole, I missed Sister Eunice.
Really?
I did.
She had such a big role last week.
I love her so hard.
She does get some good...
She's so great and creepy, and like, I want to know like what's wrong with her and like why she's so insane and like sexually charged all of a sudden. It's just like, it's great.
Well, I mean, of course she's possessed at the moment. And...
I mean, is she?
Yeah, yeah, she's possessed. But she every time she's on camera, like you're always watching her, because there could be any, like the scene with Kit. You're always watching her. You don't care about Kit in that moment.
No, you don't. She's very commanding.
She's captivating when she's on camera. She's very captivating. And I don't know what she's trying to do, because last week I kind of compared her to a Loki of sorts.
Okay.
Like a mischievous character throughout the asylum, and
Like a Puck
yeah,
from Midsummer.
yeah, like a Puck. I will give you that one.
What? What that is?
All right.
A perfect simile.
Yes. I'll give you a clap for that.
Thank you.
But no, like last week, she was all about doing very evil stuff. She killed a woman,
Yeah.
very, very blatantly killed a woman.
Yeah,
And then this week,
it's
she
awesome.
seems like you kind of get on her side a bit because she helps out Kit. Not so much helps him out, but like
To a certain extent, I think, and I think that it's more for her own
enjoyment.
yes than it is for anything else.
Yeah.
But that was really all we saw of her this week. What did you think of the episode as a whole?
I liked it. I think the next episode is going to be a lot better. I liked last episode a lot more than this one.
Okay.
But
Why?
I feel, well, because every time you have like a lot of stuff happening at once, and you have a lot of things that come together in the end. That's what I liked about last episode. Like, we had them
Right.
get out of the movie theater and then come back to the movie theater, but at the same time you have that story arc with Shelley, who gets taken off on a different tangent, and that kind of opens up a new door for that. And we have a whole storyline going into that, which, I mean, it kind of, last episode set up a lot, but it also concluded a lot. This episode kind of just set up everything and didn't really close the door or anything at all.
Well, I mean, that's sort of...
In fact, it kind of took the door, blew it off its hinges, and kind of left it open for the next episode.
Yes, of course. But that is the beauty of a show like this, that we need. We can't start stories and finish them all within one episode. Otherwise, it sort of becomes like the villain of the week
Yeah, that's true.
show, and we sort of have to develop our characters throughout the season.
So, Anne Frank,
Yes.
how long do you think she's going to be? Do you think she's going to last?
I think no. Next week is her last episode.
Really?
Yes, I think the actress was only contracted for 2 episodes.
Ooh, well, insider info right there.
Yeah. So I don't think after next week she'll be around. But I do enjoy this storyline and her sort of demonizing of Dr. Arden and sort of bringing that to light.
Well, I like how they did it, because you can tell she wrote the book. At the same time, it's at the same time you
But
don't want to
did
believe
she
her.
write the
I know.
book?
At the
It's
same
like,
time, you
that's
don't want to
the
believe
thing.
her, but when the certain things she does, like when Sister Jude's talking to her in the cell, and she just starts whistling the song. I think it's a Nazi anthem that she starts whistling.
Yeah.
She knows where she is. She knows who she is in her mind.
Right.
And she's not going to let anyone tell her different. And she's in an insane asylum. So it's like it's not going to fly.
But she's in an insane asylum for starting a fight in a bar.
I know, that seems a little bit much. I think it's more like she got sent there for saying she was Anne Frank after starting the fight in the
I
bar.
think what happened was she started the fight in the bar, and they arrested her, and she wouldn't tell them who she was. And so then she got dropped off at the insane asylum because they're like, well, clearly this chick's crazy.
Well, I mean, she kind of like stabbed them with broken bottles. She didn't exactly start a fight.
As you do in a bar fight.
Okay, we all know how Dave fights.
You fight dirty in a bar. Come on, you're drunk.
But yeah, I
And
mean,
people are throwing around anti-Semitic slurs.
so Anne Frank kind of tries to confide. She confides in Sister Jude. She tells Sister Jude all about her story, and
Yeah.
she pulls up her arm, has the tattoo.
Right.
And Sister Jude kind of doesn't believe her. Like, she really doesn't believe her, but you can see the doubt that's being put in her mind, because she already hates Arden. She really dislikes
Well,
that
yeah,
man.
of course.
So when
rightfully so.
So when she doesn't doubt her, or when she kind of is doubting what Anne Frank's saying, but at the same time doubting whether Arden is or isn't whatever the hell he is, then we have the detectives that come in.
Right. Who sort of blow the door open, as you said before.
And what
Say? Go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
I don't know what I'm just saying.
Okay. But to continue with Anne Frank, we have to go into Jude a little bit here. And it's hard
want to.
I know, it's hard to.
Try not to.
Okay, so Sister Jude
Yeah.
finds out about what the detectives are there for.
Right.
And it kind of assures her beliefs in what Anne Frank has said.
Right. Okay, so here is where I started to really get invested in this season because for a while now I've been faltering and being like, I don't know about this. Just to be, I don't know.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Just to be perfectly honest, as a fan, I wasn't as invested as I was early on with last season. But I feel like this episode sort of cemented everything for me, and it is allowing me to sort of see where they're going to take the rest of the season, and allowing this somewhat villainous character like Sister Jude, which we might as well just jump into it now as it is, who we originally thought could be one of our villains, may not be and might end up being our hero.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, because she's more likable in this episode.
Much more likable. And as we saw from last week, into this week, we're starting to see more of a human side to her and see like where she came from and why she's a...
All it took was a bottle of wine to get us to like Sister Jude.
I mean, hey, you throw a bottle of wine into anything and I'll like you. I mean, let's be honest. Get me drunk and chances are I'm going to love you.
All right.
In the next 10 minutes.
Dating tips for David Schifilliti.
Just get me drunk.
But yeah, so she is a little bit more likable. She has lots of good points in the episode.
She does, and she goes to her mother superior and is talking to her and has a very real...
Well, first she goes to the Monsignor.
Human conversation, of course, yes.
She goes to the Monsignor because her doubts were affirmed by the detectives being in the asylum.
Right.
And the Monsignor kind of blows her off. And that actor is really good at blowing people off.
He's great.
Yeah, he's only
great.
had like 5 scenes in the entire series.
He's
so far.
Fantastic, though. Let's find out his name.
Yeah, I have a picture somewhere.
People behind the curtain.
What's the character name?
Monsignor. Monsignor.
Monsignor. Okay.
Monsignor.
On it.
Man in cloth robes.
But so it's Joseph Fiennes.
Joseph Fiennes.
Yeah, Joseph Fiennes as Monsignor
brother.
Timothy Howard.
Okay.
And he kind of blows her off and basically tells her that he gave her the job. He made her where she is there, and he threatens to take that away from her if she continues this because he says it's the alcohol. He says it's that, like, she's falling off the deep end to a bit because she doesn't like Arden so much.
Right.
And that's kind of like, I don't like it when people do that. It kind of pisses me off when people blow you off saying it's because he used the same tactic on Sister Mary Jude that Thredson was using on Kit.
Right.
He was like, well, maybe you just believe this because of your deep hatred, because you kind of don't remember. It's like the alien was a hallucination because you've been drinking so much.
Well, in his defense, not knowing what we know already about him before Sister Jude leaves the room after he makes the phone call to Arden, as a man of the cloth, seeing one of your sisters who's working with you closely, it's hard to make that judgment call as to, is it because you've fallen off the bandwagon and you started drinking again? And knowing people with a history of alcohol-related problems in their lives, if it's something that you do fall off the bandwagon, it sometimes can be reasoning as to why you're acting a certain way or thinking certain things of certain people, and you start to get a little paranoid, and it's hard.
But I mean, even before the phone call, you kind of knew something was up.
No, of course. I mean, knowing the character, he's not a very likable man as it is.
Well, I mean, he's just not surprised.
Right.
When she gives him the news, he's not surprised.
Well, because clearly, as we found out, he knows.
Yeah, he knows, and this is gonna create an interesting boundary here, because Sister Jude has her fantasy with the Monsignor.
Right.
So what's she going to do if she finds out that he's with Arden?
Well, she's a woman. She's allowed to fantasize about more than one man.
Oh, hey.
Aren't we all?
Alrighty then.
I'm just saying, she's human.
Yeah,
she can fantasize about whomever she wants to fantasize about, whether it be a bad man or not a bad man.
Not a bad man. Yeah, but then she goes, you're right, she talks to Mother Superior, has a very, very human conversation.
Very, and with a lot of concerns as to what she should be doing and how she should be handling the situation. And it's just sort of, it made her a lot more likable.
Yeah. Did you write down the response that Mother Superior gave to her? She says,
I might have.
She's, what? I can't remember the quote itself, but she basically tells her that if you believe something is like that, God gives you tests.
Right.
God gives you tests and you fail that one. But then she says, well, God loves to see you triumph.
Right.
So she's kind of giving Sister Jude the strength. She's like, you need to go after this. You need to pursue this. If you think this is wrong, if you think this person is who you think it is, you need to go after Arden.
Right.
And that's kind of what I got out of the conversation. I don't know what other people got out of the conversation because there was a lot of metaphor and...
There is, and it sort of reminds me of Proof. Did you ever see Proof? It was a movie. It's also a play. It deals sort of with similar issues about a nun going over the head of the Monsignor of the school to find something out. It's not, especially at this time before Vatican II, it's not something that's looked upon
highly.
Very highly. And it's sort of not in her place to be saying anything.
Well, yeah.
In regards to like the hierarchy of the church. So I can see why she's struggling with her decision with what to do. And I sort of feel like her Mother Superior, who also isn't really in the place to be saying anything, should maybe help her out a little bit more.
Yeah, like
than just give her some great advice.
Put you in contact with somebody who can help you. It's like,
Yeah.
well, why don't you just contact them for me? That way it's who's doing it and not me.
Exactly.
But let's, do you want to go ahead and move on to a little bit of...
I do, but first, I want to know what our fans think. So if you're out there listening to us right now, make sure that if you can, call in 424-256-1729.
Yeah.
And if you haven't already, do us the favor here of subscribing to our humble little show on iTunes. Tell your friends, tell your family members, tell your coworkers how awesome we are, how much you love us. Rate, comment, and be friendly.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Don't be friendly. Be as mean as you can. I'm going to challenge you guys to be really, really evil.
No. You need to send us a bottle of wine for David. That's what you need to do.
Oh my God, please. I don't drink red. Only white, because I don't like drinking warm booze. I'm going to put that out there. A bottle of white wine would be great. Or a case.
Okay.
You know, Bevmo is having their 5-cent wine sale right now.
5-cent wine sale. Okay, anyway, I don't want to go into that, but let's go back to the beginning just a little bit, backtrack just a bit, because we've been kind of...
What do you want to get to?
We've been going a little all over the place here.
We have been going all over the place, but it's sort of like how this show works. It just doesn't... It's not very linear.
Yeah, especially this episode. Yeah, this episode's been all over the place. Not too many characters coincide as much.
No.
So we have Thredson. It has Dr. Oliver has he has a substantial role in this episode.
He does, and I'm sort of obsessed with his character, and seeing that he believes in Kit and he believes in Lana. He might believe in Lana a little bit more than he does Kit. But I thought it was really interesting that he sat them both down and spoke to them, and he told Kit that he wants to help him. Just like he told Lana, I want to help you. You don't belong in here.
Yeah.
The difference being that he told Lana that he can for sure get her out. And Kit, he said, I can for sure make sure that you
don't die. Yeah. It's like this. It's like two sides of the same coin.
It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
But I think it's great what they've done with Lana, especially in sort of showing us the 60s version of how they thought they could quote-unquote cure being a homosexual with this aversion conversion therapy. Mm-hmm. And that scene with her in the room, sitting in the room with the doctor, and he's like showing her nudie photos.
Yeah.
Which are very tame to today's standards.
Threw in one of
her lover.
Her lover, yeah.
And just watching her like throw up because of it, and then he brings in this other man, who I was a little confused as to whether or not that was a patient or
don't
just some like
know.
a random like janitor that he was like, hey, I'm gonna bring this janitor in, this young janitor, and you're gonna grab his wiener and you're gonna masturbate.
You're gonna grab his. And it was kind of awkward.
That's how it went in my head.
But the whole time I was thinking, it's like, this is a woman who she's on the up and up. Like, she is a professional woman in her career.
She's on the up and up, yeah.
Well, I mean, now she's not so much on the up and up being in the asylum,
In
but
an insane asylum on the up and up,
Yeah.
telling stories and breaking news,
and
man.
listening to speakeasies
Yeah.
and getting drinks and prohibition.
smoking
And
cigarettes and drinking brandy.
flappers, baby. But no, so she's doing this. It's just awkward because this is a woman who is in a professional career. She's used to being very, up. She's on the up and up, and
Well, yeah, she's a respectable conservative lady.
yeah, and now she's throwing up in a can, looking at pornography to their standards. And then when they bring the guy in, and he tells her to touch him while
Yeah.
she's touching herself. That was a graphic scene, by the way.
It was very graphic. And
But how would you like?
watching it, I have to say that I guffawed when he said, grab him.
Grab his member.
I don't know if it was like an uncomfortable laugh or more of like a. It definitely was not that. It was definitely a guffaw, like a. "Ah!" That's exactly what I did.
Okay.
But I don't know if it was like more of a guffaw of like being uncomfortable with the whole situation, or more of like a guffaw in the fact that like I was like, wow, this is awesome. They
But tell me,
definitely went there.
If you were a woman
Yeah.
in a very awkward situation, touching yourself, grabbing some random dude's member,
Yeah.
would you really want a
Well-
doctor like Zachary Quinto just staring at you the whole time? Good, Lana. That's good.
It's really uncomfortable. I would say.
I was uncomfortable during that whole scene. I was like,
I loved it. I was like living in it. I was like, yeah, give it to me.
but so we finally.
I was. Let me have my moment of glory.
You just wanted to be Lana in that moment, didn't you?
No, I just thought it was so interesting to watch them and to like transport myself into that time, thinking that they thought that forcing someone this aversion conversion therapy would actually work.
Well, what I thought was that Thredson wasn't really trying to cure her. He was just trying to give her the weeks or 2 weeks of bullshit, pardon my French, therapy.
To help her get out.
Yeah, to get her out.
No, I think he did have other intentions for her, because I sort of feel like the way that he looks at her.
Yeah, especially.
He's in love with her.
I wouldn't say in love. I think he lusts. This show is definitely not anything
It's not about
love.
It's not necessarily about love. Although Kit and Grace sort of border love and lust and all those wonderful things.
Definitely lust there. Grace, by the way, totally gorgeous. It was an amazing scene with that.
Are you into killer chicks? Meaning murderous ladies?
I mean, I guess so.
Ladies who kill
I guess
people?
so.
Is that your thing?
Hey, she just killed her family. It's all right.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's
just
whatever.
her father and her
don't have to-
stepmother. No biggie.
I mean, I don't have to deal with in-laws.
Right? It's okay. It's okay. You call me Grace. It's cool. I got you.
But yeah, Thredson. So yeah, Thredson does the whole deal with her, and kind of, you're right. He does seem like he has an infatuation with Lana, and he makes the promise. I promise. And he gives her the picture.
He gives her the picture and then tells her she'll be out in a week.
Yeah, it's like
He doesn't know how,
but he's gonna
but
do
he's
it.
gonna get her out.
And then he gives the same kind of beginning of the deal to Kit.
Right.
But then he says, well, I can't, if I say that you're sane, then you'll most definitely get the electric chair.
Right.
But if I say that you're insane, I'd be lying because I don't think that you're insane at all.
Right.
So he kind of wants, he thinks, even after last episode when he told Lana, I don't think that Kit killed those people, he completely flip-flopped this episode. He's like, I think that it's your guilty conscience covering it up, and you don't know what you did. And it goes into this very detailed reenactment of what happened to Kit and how he killed his wife, and that was...
Right. That was rough. It was rough. I mean, and I also think that it's very interesting that, I'm not sure if this is the first time we've heard this, but, because I can't remember, but there were 2 murders before his wife.
Yeah.
So either he did do them and he's completely insane and doesn't remember, or he is justified in what he's thinking. I mean, we've seen that little creepy thing like crawl out of his neck and been taken apart and put back together, and like, who knows what that actually is, if it is sort of an alien
Oh, and there was a
manifestation, or
there was a remark
something else.
that I caught watching the episode. When Dr. Arden's talking to Kit, he says, "How did it get back inside you?" There was no reincision mark.
Right.
So, like, they didn't
When
really...
did it go? They didn't show that at all.
They didn't show it at all, but apparently, for people who didn't catch that, I think that the spider chip got back inside of Kit, and then at the end of the other episode, you see him slice open Kit's neck.
Right.
I think he pulled out another one. And then he x-rays all of Kit, so I'm interested to see what comes from that.
I mean, it's so confusing, but I love it.
So Kit and Grace this episode seem to be developing. They start out developing somewhat of a
relationship.
It seems more intimate than any other episode because, of course, they're friends and they're all like, "Oh, we want to escape together." And now they're not. Now they've seen the monsters. They're not so much inclined to escape.
Oh my God, when you said monster, I thought of something else completely. I have a very dirty mind today. I don't
Did
know
you just
what.
have like Macaulay Culkin like pop into your head for a second?
No, not at all. When you said monster, the scene, although that's very clever, the scene where they were having sex like flashed into my mind.
You mean?
Just continue. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Kit and
Been a
Grace.
very good boy.
Oh yeah. Those of you on the podcast, we're naked here at the AfterBuzz. No, I'm just kidding.
Completely nude.
Yeah. Okay. So they're a lot more intimate than they were in previous episodes, and now they get stuck on double duty. Sister Jude puts them on double duty.
Right.
After this punishment, because he couldn't even sit down for a week or something like that. They made a joke about that. And while they're doing the dishes, she tells him the truth, quote unquote truth.
Right. She tells him a story, and then we later find out that is isn't the true story.
But it is the true story. It is. But she's telling it through her sister's eyes.
Right.
Yes.
All right. I'll give it. All right, then.
So that's
clever.
That's what the interesting thing was. That she's basically adapted her sister's story to be her own.
Okay. Now here's my question for you. She tells us the story. We later find out that she tells us the story, and then we later find out that she is a victim of rape by the hands of her father.
Don't believe it.
You don't believe it.
Don't believe it.
Interesting. I wasn't even going to ask you that if you believed that or not.
No, the reason.
But I think it's interesting that you just say that you don't believe her at all.
I straight up don't believe it because, for the one sole fact that usually people who are abused as children are kind of, to a point, disgusted by the thought of sex.
Right.
She seems to be way too seductive and way too wanting of it for it to be something like that. And that's just like my opinion. I really don't think we've gotten the full story out of Grace yet.
All right.
And I think she's killed
Interesting.
more people than just her parents.
Oh.
Predictions.
Look at you.
I know. Oh my God.
So fancy.
But she's
that didn't even cross my mind.
really.
Not at all. I was basically gonna say that I think that in a way the murdering of her father and stepmother is somewhat justified.
Well,
It's an ends to a means.
okay, but there's two problems with that I'm gonna break this. Let's break this apart now.
Break it down.
I wish we had like I don't know, whatever.
Me too.
And so we're gonna break the scene down. She has the scene where she goes in, and there was a really clever way of her escaping in this. I really like that, and that's a small detail we probably got to remember too. Is she walks in on her dad with the axe, Red with the axe and her dad. Mm-hmm. Red, who is of course a random character that we probably will never see again.
Nope.
And she sees him, screams, runs away, runs downstairs, and she runs and grabs the front door, opens it, closes it, and then goes into the closet on the right.
Right.
And that's like a very clever technique to get him to be running outside to chase after her.
Right.
But that wasn't in the second story.
No, it was not.
So how would she have known about that tactic? So I kind of think that she is living it through her sister, yet at the same time there's some truth to her story as well, maybe combining the two stories. But then she ends up in the closet where her mom is, of course,
Stepmother.
her stepmother is
Disemboweled.
she's in pieces over the death of her husband.
Yes.
Oh, that was a really bad
that
joke.
was a good joke. I got an even better joke for you right here, completely off topic. Two peanuts are walking down the street, and one of them was a salted peanut. It's almost as good as your joke.
Well, Dave, have you ever heard the one about the desert?
Tell me later.
Well, I guess not, because you just don't like dry humor. Anyway, so the other fallacy, I said there were two things. There was that one where, of course, she didn't know that detail. And there's the second thing. If the stepfather was abusing her, then dollars to donuts. I love that saying, by the way. Dollars to donuts. He was abusing her sister.
Oh.
So her sister.
And so she's acting out on her sister's behalf.
Either that, or
she's jealous.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's more that her sister was not abused, therefore she was not abused, because her sister would not have screamed when she saw her killing her dad.
I mean, she might have still or not. You're definitely going to scream if you see your sibling wielding an axe into your father's
true,
back.
But at the same time, like, I don't think she would have testified against her to get sent to the asylum or something like that, because it's technically a self-defense in a way. If you kill someone trying to rape you, it's self-defense. The mom, not so much. I mean, the stepmom, she was kind of killed in cold blood.
Completely justified.
Completely justified?
Completely justified.
All right, murder is justified in the eyes of David Schifilliti.
I'm just kidding.
But yeah, that's why
that's not true. I don't justify murdering anybody ever. Okay.
Then why isn't JC or Jackie here?
Let's just put that, because I killed them. No, I'm just kidding.
No, so those are the reasons that I don't believe that Grace is being completely honest with us. I think Grace is a character that's going to be around probably till the end of this season. She's one of the most provocative, most interesting characters. Just like I said this about Dexter. There's a character in that, and I was just like, they can't get rid of that character because it's too interesting still. And that's what I feel with Grace right now. She's too interesting.
I mean, we're sort of developing this sort of strange love story between, whether you want to call it love or lust, between Kit and Grace, whether or not he still has feelings for her or not at this point after finding out the truth about her, in quotes. It's sort of like the romance of the story, which we do need.
Well, yeah,
twisted or not, we need some sort of love in the air.
How about Jude and Arden?
Love is in the air.
Love is in the air. Okay, yeah. But, yeah, so we have that. That's the whole thing that goes on with Kit. And there was that great scene with Kit and Eunice where she picks, the first thing she does when walking in the room, picks up the barbed wire whacking stick.
So good.
And she's like, I picked out the stick for you, Jude. And Jude says something like, I like how forward you're being now. Like, Jude, it's such an metaphorical irony where Eunice was the pure one, and now that she's possessed, Jude likes her more.
It's great.
Catholic Church.
So good. So twisted.
Love it.
Any other thoughts on the episode before we jump into news and gossip?
Well, we still have to get into a little bit more of the episode, man.
No, we don't.
What about Shelley, man? What about Shelley? What about the climax of the episode?
Well, I think...
okay, so...
Spit it out.
So
Quickly.
Finally... Really, Dave?
Yes. Come on!
If you can hear our engineers in the back laughing his brains out right now. So later we see Arden throw Anne Frank into the operating room where he operated on Kit. It's basically his little studio of...
It's his, like, Dr. Frankenstein's lair.
Yeah. So he throws her down the ground, and he's going to show her what happens in there. And then she pulls out a gun, and she throws a little spark of doubt into his mind where he's like, where did you get that? And she says, not everyone is as trusting as Sister Jude or something. Like, says something about how I'm not the only one who distrusts you.
Yeah.
Then it shows a quick flashback to show that she just stole it from the guard. She stole it from, I think his name's Mike or Mark or something. And then she shoots him in the leg.
Yeah.
She shoots him in the leg. He used to be a doctor before he took a gunshot to the leg.
He would still be a doctor.
And
haven't you ever watched Grey's Anatomy? They've all been shot on that show once or twice.
But then she's going to go ahead and do the finishing blow, and she hears screaming. And she opens the door behind her, and it is Shelley.
It is Chloe Sevigny in her most glorious moment, looking more beautiful than I've ever seen her look.
Like a crocodile.
Like a crocodile with no legs. So hot.
Sexy.
Well, I mean, clearly.
I want to lay you down by the fire. Okay, yeah.
So good. I mean, Dr. Arden is like creating these monsters.
Yeah.
We still don't know how.
Well, I kind of, this is one of my predictions that came true, and I was happy about that.
Okay.
I said, at the end of last episode, I said, Dr. Arden is a Nazi for a fact. Hitler always had a team of scientists who were investigating the supernatural.
Right.
That is like a big legend, myth.
That is a total Avengers myth, but okay, go ahead.
No, it's like, it's something that's well spread throughout stories and everything.
Okay.
But there was a whole game Wolfenstein based on it. Anyway, so he was one of the SS doctors who were investigating like eternal life and stuff and things like that. So Dr. Arden's goal is eternal life.
Right.
And I'm going out and saying that right now. Dr. Arden's goal is eternal life after what he's done.
Well, he did say it in the show.
Yeah, he said,
after I'm done with you, you'll live forever.
we could quite possibly live forever. So he's a very interesting character, and I'm glad that they're going this route with him, because we have, and then we have the Monsignor, who's also SS. And that's an interesting thing that we're going to go on. And I still don't know what they did to the girls in the Holocaust.
They were probably, perfecting what they were doing here, which is what he's still trying to do, is to perfect his formula.
The formula.
The formula.
Yeah, it's hard to do a whole after show on this episode just because it's so much setup, and
it is a lot of setup. But
next episode,
it's good stuff.
Next episode, we'll be joined again with our amazing JC Rubio, and
possibly a new host, who some of you may know, the lovely Sarah Huggins, may be joining us as well.
Oh, all right. But we can delve deep into the episode.
See. Yeah. But all in all, I think it was a great setup episode.
Great setup episode.
And you rarely see a good setup episode. Usually you're like, all right, I guess you had to like put that stuff out there so that we can get to the good stuff later, but this was still very captivating for me.
Still better than the first episode. Hated the first. Still hated the first. I watched it again. I hated the first, but I liked the second, I liked the third, and I liked this one.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to episode 5, which is going to be on next Wednesday, and you can catch the after show for it at 7 p.m. Pacific time next Thursday. So let's. Do you wanna?
I would like to jump into news and gossip.
Do you wanna jump in
before we run out of time?
TV news.
American Horror Story Asylum's Franka Potente talks about playing Anne Frank and guest starring on TV's craziest show. Of all the insane things we've seen so far in American Horror Story Asylum, aliens, bloody face, surgically mutilated Chloe Sevigny, Franka Potente's character ranks right up there with the craziest. She's checked into the asylum as a mysterious new inmate claiming to be Anne Frank. Here are some of the highlights. On playing the unusual role of Anne Frank, she said, quote, Anne Frank in The Diary is known worldwide, probably one of the most famous books ever. Like every other high school student, I read it in school. I visited the Anne Frank house. She was Dutch, but she spent a very few years living in Germany. I knew things, but I looked at The Diary again to refresh my memory a little bit. It's one of the landmarks of history. But I love the idea of what if. What if she was still around? She would be my age. What would that be like to indulge in that for a little bit? There are a lot of women at the time who I guess did that. On her real-life experience in an asylum, Potente said, quote, many years ago for a German film I did with Tom Twyker, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but whatever, it's called The Princess and the Warrior, I actually worked in an insane asylum for 2 weeks. I have many vivid memories of that very awkward time, but on the other hand, this is set in the 60s, so it's very different. The experiments they conducted at the time with the patients were very new, but I've spent quite some time that was very intense in an institution like that. It's always nice to have a fresh take on it. This is at the end of the day a person. Nobody who's insane runs around thinking, oh my God, I'm insane. You have to play against that and be as normal as possible.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I'm insane.
I'm insane.
You too? There's so much in common.
And then on the unique appeal of American Horror Story, she said, quote, if you commit yourself to watching something like this, you want to be creeped out. This is not a cooking show or a book club. People like the show because it's this weird ambivalent feeling of I'm watching these sick things. There is sick stuff on this show, but people are intrigued, and I think they feel bad at the same time. time. Like, I can't believe I'm watching this. You know the scene with Lana masturbating and puking?
Yeah, I do.
People went crazy about that online. It's this weird feeling of, I can't believe I just watched this, but you just have to. You can't look away. It's the great attraction of it.
There are not very many cable TV shows that will show a woman touching herself on it.
Agreed, and I feel like there should be more.
Yeah. And they don't use the line, grab his member, very much either.
No, and I enjoy that. And that should be said often and many times as well.
Hey, David.
Can we make
grab
that?
His member.
We should make that a bumper here at AfterBuzz TV. Grab his member.
Grab his member.
Work on that.
Zachary Quinto's soundboard for grab his member.
Please, it would be genius. And then American Horror Story Asylum, Dylan McDermott tweets from set. Dylan McDermott is on his way back to American Horror Story, and if his tweets are any indication, he's going to freak people out. The actor took to Twitter to express his excitement about making his debut on Asylum. Here's what he had to say. On the set of American Horror Story, I promise you will be thoroughly effing satisfied. Totally wiped out from working on American Horror Story, giving blood on this one. Today is my first day back on American Horror Story. Fasten your seatbelts and get your air sickness bags ready. It's time to party. It's only fitting that the Season 1 alum took to Twitter to announce his excitement for being back on the set of the show, since his return was announced via Twitter by the man himself, Ryan Murphy, only a few weeks ago.
We agreed no saying of his name this episode, and you failed.
I will say his name till the day that I die.
No,
you can
won't.
just deal with it.
All right.
And another thing that I do want to put out there, have you guys been doing this, giving our fans recommendations of other films to watch to continue the week?
I have not been doing that.
Okay.
We have been missing you, Dave.
I know. I gotta get things back in order. Okay, so for this episode, I tried to find something. A movie that you could watch if you haven't seen it already, because it did just come out in theaters, that sort of involved similar themes with it being Jewish related, which was The Possession.
Okay.
Which just came out, which stars Keira Sedgwick and Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Matisyahu, which is incredible. If anybody, Matisyahu is in it.
I love his music.
He's fun in the movie, but it is a possession film. And as possession films go, for me, I don't find them very frightening. But this one does sort of keep you on the edge of your seats. I did see it in the theaters myself. But it is about a young girl who buys an antique box at a yard sale, and unaware that inside this collectible lives a malicious ancient spirit.
Oh, man, how original.
How original. It's supposedly based on a true story, as all these possession films are.
Yeah.
It's a clever little movie.
I'd rather just go watch Zoolander again.
All right.
But,
if you haven't seen the movie, you can check to see if it's in any weird local theaters by you. If not, you can wait till January 15th, 2013, when it comes out on DVD.
All right, I got one piece of news and gossip I want to go through real quick.
Give it.
Just so people aren't really wondering, the show, of course, you said it's going to be Sarah Huggins, Dave Schifilliti, me, myself, Stephen Lemieux, and JC Rubio. We've had a little bit of a scheduling problem, so Jackie's going to no longer be able to be with us.
Yes, unfortunately.
But you should definitely check out any other shows that she does, because she's a very talented host, and I actually really enjoyed working with her, because she always had her crap straight with the news and gossip, with everything that's going on with the show. I mean,
she's great. I know she does RuPaul's Drag Race.
Funny show.
So check that out. It's so fun. She's fun to watch, fun to work with.
So
predictions. Yeah. Give it.
David, you put the dick in predictions.
Your AfterBuzz TV.
Thanks.
Prediction.
What?
I can't. Okay, so it looks like...
Oh, and we didn't see Bloody Face this episode.
No, we did not.
We did not.
Which I thought was very interesting, but not interesting enough to touch on. I think this is going to be my prediction. So our head shrinker, who's trying to get out Lana, is going to somehow, in the next episode we saw in the preview that he says to her that we're getting he's going to end up in the asylum with her. That is my
you
prediction.
took mine. Damn.
Did I?
Yeah. Oh.
It's like for sure.
Okay, let me do
happening.
like a brain dance here to come up with something new.
Okay. That and I think Sister Jude may be leaving her role as Sister Jude and going back into regular life. Like she's no longer going to be a nun.
Don't believe it. Nope.
I have a feeling. I have this weird feeling that she's going to be. For sure, she's getting kicked out of the asylum.
Nope.
She is.
Nope. You know what's gonna happen?
Okay.
You know what's gonna
tell
happen?
me.
All right.
Tell me.
So let me throw this.
You tell me. What do you think?
I'm gonna throw this hot fire right at you, and you better catch it. And I hope you're wearing oven mitts. All right.
All right.
So.
All right.
I think Monsignor and Arden are gonna set Sister Jude up to be the one who gets sent to the asylum.
Oh.
She's gonna be the one in the asylum because they don't want to use 2 locations when she goes to real life. So yeah, she's not gonna go to real life. They don't want to use another location. Have to go through all that filming crap.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
I think that I think we'll see Thredson become. If we're not gonna go with Thredson going to the asylum because I want to use a different prediction.
Okay.
I think we will be seeing the end of Sister Mary Eunice and the beginning of exorcism or exorpossession Thredson.
Oh.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
we're gonna have the doctor who does not believe in exorcisms become the one possessed. Because they love those little contradictions there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm with you.
If you're watching right now, Dave is like this. Okay.
It sort of brings to mind the movie The Exorcist when the priest takes in
I don't know what
the
movie.
spirit.
What movie is that?
That small film, The Exorcist,
Yeah, what movie?
starring Linda Blair.
Yeah, I don't know.
Some great
Looks like they're
lines in
kicking us
there.
off the air.
That's fine.
So we've wasted 46 minutes. No, I'm just totally
I'm just
kidding.
gonna talk over this music. I don't care. I'll just talk forever until they turn off my microphone.
Keep talking louder and louder here at AfterBuzz TV. But yeah, we would. There's a lot to go over next episode, I'm sure. This
There
episode,
will
we
be.
just had to set up a lot of things, and it was hard to choose topics, especially tonight.
It was. I mean, there was a lot that happened. I'm sure we missed a whole bunch of stuff. If we did, you can tweet us. You can tweet me at You Can Call Me Skiff. Do you have a Twitter?
Yeah, I'm a Twitter at Stephen Lemieux, one word, and it's pretty simple, except nobody gets my name spelled right. So
We'll
that's
spell it for them.
STEPHENLEMIEUX.
Okay. There you go.
Oh wow, I spelled it right. That's the first.
There
too.
you go. I know I can't spell my
I
name
can't
either.
spell his name at all. No.
But yeah, hit us up on Twitter and remind us of anything that we may have forgotten, or maybe if you have a prediction that you'd like us to talk about on the air, we're more than happy to do that as well.
Or call us.
Or call us here at 424-256-1729. We're always here waiting for your phone calls, but no one ever calls in, but it's fine. But from everyone here at the AfterBuzz TV studios, myself and Steven, thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to tune in next week. We will see you then.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Possible.
Bye.